What happens when the woman who never was allowed to cry finally finds her voice? Dear Bahamian Gal is a raw and heartfelt book that breaks the silence and shines a light on the pain, strength, and healing of Bahamian women. Joining us today is author Kevinique Bethel, whose deeply personal and soul-stirring work shines a light on the struggles Bahamian women face across generations. Kevinique, welcome to What's Trending, and thank you for bringing this powerful story to the forefront.
Thank you for this opportunity.
It's great to have you here with us. So what inspired you to write Dear Bahamian Gal at just 24 years old, and why was now the right time for this book?
What inspired me to write Dear Bahamian Gal, honestly, I would say dealing with my own pain. We all have our stories, and for a long time I carried mine silently, and it took a toll on my mental health. And I've lived on many of our Bahamian islands, and I realized that in conversation with the other Bahamian women, or just women who live in the Bahamas in general, their hurt and not being able to express it and speak out about it, it took a toll on them as well. So I felt like because I was in the right mind space, this was the right time to write it.
That's fair enough. So the book dives into very raw and vulnerable experiences. So how did you find the courage to put those words on paper and share it so openly?
My mom and my grandmom, they're also in the book. Very strong women. They've endured a lot. And during the time writing the book, I broke down a lot, you know, having to relive certain trauma to put it into words. It was hard, but they gave me the strength and the courage, and unity is very, very important, especially with women.
And how long did it take you to put this book together?
Years. I would say years.
Okay. So you write about the pressure Bahamian women face to always be strong but silent. So how does that cultural expectation weigh on mental and emotional health that you touched on earlier?
You know the term a mad black woman? That's how it weighs. So you carry so much inside of you, and it makes you angry. There's a lot of resentment, a lot of bitterness for what you weren't taught, for what you weren't allowed to experience, for what wasn't able to be said or shared on behalf of you. And it created a lot of angry women. So I think that took a big toll on our culture and on our women's mental health.
Yeah, because you know that's often a stigma attached to women.
Yep.
As well. They said you're just an angry black woman.
No, it's because we have a lot inside of us that needs to come out.
And you found in releasing it through your words that helped you tremendously,
Yes,
I imagine.
it did.
That's great. So you structured the book in different stages of a woman's life. You talk about the teenage years, motherhood, elderhood, and that was powerful. So why was it important for you to capture these generational voices?
Because that's where we all start and that's where we all end. And it starts at the beginning. So what you teach a young lady, that's what she grew up to be. What you don't allow her to say, she won't say it even when she's older. And I wrote it that way because I realized that from my grandmom to my mom and then to me, the generation changes. Because what broke my Grammy, my mommy was able to carry that and learn from it and then teach me how not to allow that to break me. So each stage of our lives and what we learn at that stage is very important.
And now you're able to help others.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. And also you pair each chapter with symbolic imagery and even voice notes. So how do those elements deepen the reader's connection to the stories that you share?
Well, Bahamians are visual learners. We oftentimes you hear a joke, read Bahamas read, because they'd have something in front of them, but they mostly like the picture, like the cover captures most people's attention, and then they want to read it. So I feel like it creates an emotional connection with the images, the voice note, and the photos. Well, same as the images.
And for women watching who may feel that they still have to hide their pain or carry their struggles alone, what advice would you give them?
Even though they may not share it, most likely they want to, but we live in the Bahamas, we live in a culture where opening up, you're shamed for it. You're labeled, you're looking for attention. So most of the times you don't say certain things out of fear. So when you grow and you learn and you heal, eventually being patient, you will open up.
And you'll be courageous too,
Yes.
just like you and others. Makes a lot of sense. So your words are so powerful on the page, and would you like to share with us a short excerpt from your Dear Bahamian Gal, one that you feel captures the heart of your message?
Definitely. And this is a quote I made myself. Heal the womb and you will heal everyone that comes out of it. When I say heal the womb, I mean heal the woman. A healed woman, a healed womb, everyone that comes out of her will be healed as well, because she's able to teach what she's learned. She's able to give that patience, that love, that nurturing. But if she's a broken woman, usually broken people create broken people too.
That's like hurting people or hurt people.
Yes.
So that makes a lot of sense. But throughout, like, bringing your book together, sharing so many different stories, what did you learn about yourself in the process?
That I'm very sensitive, very, very sensitive. This book has a lot of stories. Like I said, I've lived on a lot of Bahamian islands, and I've heard many, many stories, and I carried it with me, and I thought about it all the time, and I was like, these people don't have the opportunity to speak out, to say anything, and it would hurt me, and it would bother me, and I needed some place for it to go.
So what would you say, having heard so many different stories, having spoken to so many different women, what would you say is a key story or key tenet that you heard from these women that is so relatable to other women who may not be, as we talked about earlier, strong enough to share their stories?
In all of the stories that I've heard, it all comes down to self-worth. Stay in places that hurt, stay in places that is abusive. It all came down to how much you saw value in yourself.
Wow. So where can persons find a copy of your book, get their hands on it to explore these interestingly powerful stories that you are sharing?
So right now it's on Amazon and Kindle worldwide. It's sold in the All Seasons Book and Gift Store, which is in the Palmdale area, the same plaza as Lowe's. And also I have a location in Andros, because I have some in Andros too.
Okay.
And I'm working on Freeport. So at this time, just Amazon and then the bookstore in Nassau and Andros.
So why should persons get their hand on your book? That's the one thing you need people to know, why they should either run to Amazon or run to the nearest bookstore to pick it up.
Because it doesn't only speak about trauma, it speaks about empowerment. Even men can learn from this book. I have financial advice, I have advice for the elderly, I have advice for young girls, even in terms of health, mental health. I have disorders. A lot of women don't know, simple as certain STDs that you can contract, and that's scary. So this book explains a lot of the things that we should be taught as young women, straight up until we're elderly.
Well, thank you so much, Dear Bahamian Gal. It sounds like it's more than a book. It's a brave conversation starter and a reminder that healing begins when we find the courage to speak. So, Kevinique, thank you so much for joining us today on What's Trending and for sharing your voice with us. So now we shift from breaking the silence to healing power of creativity. Our next guest has worked closely with people facing trauma, helping them turn their pain into resilience and strength through education and expression. Stay with us.